All right, boys and girls, we are looking at utility, which is the satisfaction you receive from consuming a good or a service, right? It is how you feel, what the good gives you, right? We call it utility. The number of units that a consumer gains from consuming a given quantity, a good, service, or an activity. Skiing, as we talked about, right? So total utility is the overall satisfaction you get from doing something, having a meal, eating certain amounts of food. Okay, it cannot be measured by an actual scale or standard, right? It's very subjective. Each person's going to have different numbers, and that's okay because we want to focus on how people react to changes so that when we get to the firms, we'll understand why they're doing their changes. Okay, total utility is increasing, but it's at a decreasing rate. So total utility usually is rising, but at a decreasing rate because as we consume more and more of a good, we usually get less satisfaction as we consume more. The second slice of pizza is never as good as the first slice of pizza. Okay, and again, you have to keep everything consistent. The second slice of pizza must be the same kind of pizza as the first slice. You can't have the first slice and then the second slice you put a piece of pineapple on it, and oh man, you blow my mind. So much better now with this little piece of pineapple on here that the second slice is better. But that then we have to go to the next slice to see what happens, and eventually it will go down. So you must be consistent in the type of product we're looking at. And that's called the law of diminishing marginal utility, which is its tendency of marginal utility to decline beyond some level of consumption during a period. So as I eat more and more pizza, my satisfaction gets less and less to the point that if I eat too much, I'll actually end up with negative marginal utility. All right, so let's look at total utility for slices of pizza per day. Right, I know you're shocked that I'm using pizza. So the first slice gets me 10 utils. Right, that's the measurement, utils, U-T-I-L-S. So the first slice gets me 10. The second slice, I get a total of 18, 24, 28, 25. That's great, but that's not the focus of what we're doing. We need to look over here at the marginal. How much satisfaction did I get from the first slice of pizza? Well, the marginal utility of the first slice of pizza was 10. Okay? Then we want to look at what was the second slice. So if I had total utility of 10, now it's 18. My marginal utility went up by 8 with the second slice. Okay, so it is increasing, but at a slower rate. Then the third slice I have gets me 6 utils. Then I get 4. Then I get 0. And then I've eaten too much. Okay, and I have -3. So I should have stopped at probably the fourth slice because we're not even talking about what it cost me for the fifth and sixth slice that took away satisfaction. Now, if I'm a firm, do I want to produce these two products or do I want to hire these two workers if I'm getting the same that I got with 4? All right, and that's what I want you to kind of see here is that we will look at this from a firm's perspective. All right, now the choice is if I'm not having pizza, my choice would be brownies, right? And the brownies I'm getting 12, 8, 5, 3, 0, and then -2. Now you can't take the marginal utility and compare it to the marginal utility of pizza because they're different products and possibly a different price. So I want to just look at this graphically for a second. We want to see that total utility is going up, right? So my total utility is going up, but it is going up at a slower rate. It's actually going up by this amount. The marginal utility for you math students, the marginal utility is the slope of the total utility, meaning the marginal utility is the derivative of total utility. So as marginal utility is going down, the slope is changing, right? And we see here where the marginal utility was 10, 8, 6, and that's the graph down here. All right, great. The brownie graph would look the same way. I'm not going to put that up. So let's look at the marginal decision rule. You better remember this because I will be coming back to it in about a month, maybe a month and a half. And I'm going to ask you to come back and no one's going to do it. Well, maybe Emily will remember it, all right? But the marginal benefit to a consumer of spending another dollar on the good is the marginal utility of that expenditure. So that's what I was just saying. You can't compare the brownies and the pizza's utility unless we put the price in. Because I'm paying more for pizza than I'm paying for brownies. So I want to look at what's my utility per dollar spent. If I do it that way, then I can compare the two products. All right, the marginal cost to the consumer. So if I'm spending $1 on pizza, it's $1 I'm not spending on brownies. So the dollar better get me more margin utility per dollar spent than the margin utility I'm losing by not eating the brownie. All right, and that is just a simple formula of marginal benefit equals marginal cost. And if you notice here, marginal benefit is the margin utility, okay, of pizza over the price of pizza. Should be equal to the margin utility over the margin utility of a brownie over the price of a brownie. These two things should be equal or as close to equal as possible without marginal cost being higher. You never do something where the marginal cost is higher. All right, so let's take our charts again. So here we have our slice of pizza. We have our brownies per day. Pizza costs $2 a slice. Brownies cost $1. This will be an after-school sale. Hopefully back this year sometime. We can go back to those. The person has a $10 budget. Okay, so the person, let's put up all the numbers. So if I go here and I'm getting a total utility, margin utility of 10, and I'm paying 2, per dollar spent I'm getting 5 utils, right? And at 8 I'm getting 4, 3, 2, and then it doesn't matter, right? Now, that's my margin utility per dollar spent. That's great, but let's look at what is it for brownies. Well, because brownies are $1, it's MU over price, which is 12 over 1, 8 over 1. So the numbers are the same. So, where will I spend my first dollar? Well, I could spend my first dollar on a slice of pizza, but I would only get 5 utils per dollar spent. But if I have a brownie, I'm going to get 12 utils per brownie spent. So my first dollar is to buy that first brownie. Right? If you want to keep a little chart, you write down we just spent the buck. Then I go, okay, well now I have, where's my next dollar going? Because I have a $10 budget, right? So I go, well, it's still 5 if I have the pizza, but I can get a brownie for 8 and get 8 for the dollar. So my next dollar is spent on the brownie, okay? So now I've bought 2 brownies. I have my total utility so far is 20 from the 12 and the 8, okay? I've spent $2. Now, if you notice, the third brownie gets me a 5, but the first slice of pizza gets me a 5. It doesn't matter which one we do. I'll do pizza just to be different. So I grab that first slice of pizza. I've now spent $2 on brownies and $2 on pizza and $2 on brownies. Then I come down and I see that this is the same. So I get this. Right now I've spent I bought 3 brownies and I bought 2 slices. 3 brownies and 1 slice. 3 brownies and 1 slice. I've spent $5. Do I buy the 4th brownie? Well, the 4th brownie gets me a 3, but the second slice of pizza gets me a 4. So I end up buying the second slice of pizza. I have now bought 2 slices of pizza, which has cost me $4. 3 brownies, which has cost me $3. I have spent $7. Now, I can go down here, and I can see that this 4th brownie gets me a 3. The 3rd slice of pizza gets me a 3. Again, doesn't matter which one, especially for the fact that I have $3 left, so I'll spend 2 here, and I'll spend 1 here. And that will be me maximizing my utility at 3 and 3. Okay, so if I go, 3 slices of pizza, 4 brownies. If I go to brownies, my total utility is 28. If I go here, 3 slices gets me 24. 28 and 24 is 52. Within my budget, that is the greatest amount that I can buy. Okay, if my budget changed, then my next purchase would be 1 more slice of brownie, 1 more slice of pizza, and then I would be done. Okay, so you always have to put them margin utility over price. All right. The equilibrium of 2 goods is reached when the margin utility per dollar spent is the same. It's going to be tough to get it to be the same. Okay, so you will get problems that will show you that the marginal benefit is greater than the marginal cost, but if you did one more, then marginal cost would be greater than marginal benefit, and you would never do the next one. You're never going to produce or consume where marginal cost is greater than the marginal benefit, right? I would never buy that first. If I go back a slide, right? Let's go back to the numbers. I would never buy this. This is my marginal benefit, right? If I gave up this, then I would be giving up 12 units per dollar spent to get 5. We would never do that. Okay? The utility maximizing condition states that utility for a given budget when outlays equal the budget and when the ratios of marginal utilities to price per equal for all goods and services. It's the margin of decision rule. Okay, we're going to look at it later when we want to compare labor to capital. Do I hire a machine to do the job or do I hire a person? Well, there's cost involved and there's production involved, and we'll use the same formula. Okay, here's the problem. Divisibility, right? For utility maximizing condition to be met perfectly, all the goods must be completely divisible so that it can be divided meaningfully into dollar amounts. Well, what if I had $1 left and the next dollar should have been spent on pizza? But pizza's not selling for $1, it's selling for $2, right? So that doesn't really work. However, it is a good generalization to help us predict, right? So it's a model that predicts as close as possible to getting to that condition. Right, and so that's really all we need to focus on with utility. Right, again, it's the most important thing you got to walk away from here with is understanding what marginal is and understanding the marginal rule. Right, the MU over the price of the good. Then we can compare. Just a quick side note: well, I told you one of my favorite slices of pizza is in Brooklyn. It's $5. One of my other favorite slices of pizza is in Harlem, and it's $1.50 a slice. Well, I have to measure my satisfaction per dollar spent, and I'm going to tell you that Patsy's on 117th Street gives me more utility per dollar spent than DeFara's in Brooklyn. Right? Not saying DeFara's doesn't have a better slice, but I'm saying when I divide it by $1 or divide it by the price, per dollar spent, I get more satisfaction from Patsy's. Right? Maybe I'll put that as like a bonus question. See if anybody actually listens to the end of these videos. All right, guys, enjoy the long weekend.